guys, welcome back. My name is Joyce Omondi Wahiga, and this is Full Circle with Joyce. We're in our second hour of the show right now. We of course began at 8 a.m., but now we focus in on lifestyle. And in this hour, we're going to be talking to a cancer survivor. Actually, one of the cancers that she's survived is breast cancer, and she's been through this 5 times and come out victorious. What a story. We're going to be hearing a bit about her story shortly, and then later on we're also going to be talking about what is known as OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. A lot of us joke about having it, and we say that we have it because we're very concerned about cleanliness and details and the things like that. But is there more to it? We're going to find out later on in the show. But before we get started with all that, let me share our inspirational word with you for the day. It says, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. Wow. I'm going to read that again. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. And that there is by Eleanor Roosevelt. She's the one who said that quote. Fantastic quote to add. And I think it is so befitting and really a good descriptor of my guest in studio this morning. Her name is Margaret Waweru. She's a cancer survivor and founder of Cancer Survivor Africa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I also have with us Sister Jane Kago, who's a palliative care nurse at PCEA Hospital?
Yeah, Kikuyu Hospital.
In Kikuyu Hospital.
Yeah.
Karibu sana to the show
Thank
as well.
you.
Really good to have you both ladies. Mlidecide kukala coordinate na red na couch chetu, sindio?
Ni Mungu.
Ni Mungu. You look great though. You look really good.
Thank you.
Now, Margaret, you have been through cancer 5 times. Wow. One of them was breast cancer.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the first time you were diagnosed. Which other forms of cancer have you been through?
Thank you very much, Joyce. I was first diagnosed with cancer in 1997. That was breast cancer of the right side. And of course it wasn't easy, but I underwent surgery, amputation of the whole breast, and I underwent radiotherapy, 30 sessions, and chemotherapy, 6 sessions. And then the 6 sessions of chemotherapy, then 5 years treatment, that was tamoxifen. And so I was okay. And I believed like I am healed.
Yeah.
And my life was okay. And I went on very well, healthy girl, and happy, and preaching the gospel that
Come
I'm
on
healed.
now. Yeah.
Then come 2010, the recurrent, which came like a force, came like a museum, and the other breast was attacked, and the lungs, the throat, the neck, and the diaphragm.
Wow.
All these were revealed through the PET scan in India.
Okay.
For when I was leaving Kenya, I had thought it's just like the cough, because I had coughed continuously for over 3 years.
Wow.
Where I thought maybe the machines are not detecting TB. And going to various hospitals, they wouldn't show like I am that much.
Right.
So until when I went to India is when they realized I am that affected. And of course it wasn't easy.
Right.
And by the time I'm arriving in India, I had lost blood. My HB was 5.3.
Wow.
Actually, that's something I thank God, because even the oncologist asked Margaret, where did you pass? As you understand, passing through the ocean, you know, the such patients can collapse on the plane.
Sure.
But God took me through,
Yeah.
and immediately was prescribed 3 pints of blood. My blood group is B positive, and surprisingly, God's plan is true and amen, because the 3 pints were the only B plus in their blood bank.
Oh my goodness.
And so that's God's doing.
Absolutely.
I normally see this in God.
Wow.
But I want to thank God because during the transfusion period is when God talks in, I tell people God talks in English. And he spoke and told me that do not be afraid. I am your God. Let nothing terrify you. I will strengthen you. I will protect you. I will help you.
Yeah.
And I will heal you. I'll save you.
Wow.
And so that was great of God.
Yeah.
So even when this time that the machine is showing and the surgery is being done on the lungs and the other breast, the Lord has already spoken. Though, of course, as a human being, you get affected.
Sure.
And sure, it wasn't easy, but God took me through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you have quite a story. What a testimony that is. And
That's
I mean,
God.
we can hear from your voice that, you know, you're breathing quite heavily too. Is that also from what you went through then with the cancer affecting your lungs? Yeah. But look at you, you're here.
It's God.
It's God. And Sister Jane,
Yes.
you are a palliative care nurse, and I don't know how long you've been in that profession, but how many people over the years have you seen be affected by cancer? Are more people, does it seem like more people are being affected by this today now from your own perspective as a nurse?
Okay, so many people are affected. I don't have the figures, but I want to say, especially with the breast cancer in women and cervical cancer in women has been so much. And of recent, it's like the number is continuing to raise.
Yeah.
And it has been, we have been seeing many patients, I can say.
Sure.
And what I say is that if somebody is not infected, is affected, because if we start to do and check with people, you find that at least somebody has had, even if it is not a close relative, there is somebody you know that has cancer.
An auntie, a
An
sister,
auntie, a sister, a friend. There is somebody, you just get people, they are contributing for somebody who is going to India, they're contributing for somebody who is going to KNH.
Yeah.
So it is quite an issue right now. Yeah.
And in a few moments, Sister Jane here is going to be showing us how to do a self-breast examination exam, because one of the biggest things that we talk about is that prevention, right? And how early detection is so important. And so you can look forward to that, as well as just a review of some of your feedback and comments. Again, 22999 is the SMS line. We'll be back after this break.
It's important you had even a family can.
Yeah, that's an entire life. Wow, guys, welcome back to Full Circle with Joyce. If you're just joining us, I'm sitting here with some amazing ladies. One goes by the name Margaret Waweru, and she's a 22-year cancer survivor, and we're going to be telling you a bit more about that. She's also the founder of Cancer Survivor Africa. I also have Sister Jane Kago, who's a palliative care nurse with PCA Kikuyu Hospital. Karibuni tena to the show, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Now, Margaret, you're literally a walking miracle. I mean, because you were first diagnosed with cancer in 1997.
Yeah.
And so and then you got it again in 2010, and you're still actually in treatment for that, which was stage 4 cancer, making this a 22-year journey for you.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible. That is a miracle. And just to put things in perspective, by the time someone is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I mean, that's usually, not very good. And you had it had really spread, right? You're saying your neck, your lungs, your whole
Diaphragm,
your diaphragm,
breast.
your other breast. And that's in 2010. It's 2020 next year, in 3 months or so. And for you to be sitting here walking, looking as beautiful as you do, as radiant as you do, and just running your life and doing your business, I mean, surely there is a God in heaven if you've never believed it. My goodness. So over the last almost 10 years now, you're still undergoing treatment for stage 4 cancer.
Yes.
Sister Jane.
Yes.
That is almost unheard of. It's actually quite rare, isn't it?
Actually, for stage 4, for somebody even to survive a year, it's a thing. So this one is a miracle, and it is the doings of the Lord. And normally I tell people, we normally have a support group with them in our hospital, and I tell them that cancer is not a death sentence. The only person that has a word to our death is God. He's the one who knows how long we are going to live. Because sometimes you get people who didn't have a cancer, didn't have any issues, and they just don't wake up. So it's not something common that you get a stage 4 living for that long.
Right.
That's a miracle.
Right. And back in 97, that puts this journey at 22 years. Did you have any sort of inclination, about cancer then? I don't know what the times were. I was still a little girl. I was in I was in primary school. But did you have any sort of inclination as to this is cancer, what is cancer? How was it coming to terms with that information back then, when perhaps the science wasn't as advanced as it is today?
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. Of course, back those years, 1997 and before, cancer, to hear somebody has cancer, it was like, this must be a witch, somebody's amerogwa, or maybe you've done wrong to God, or you're very old. Because I remember, and then at times, it's like you're an outcast in a way. And actually, when I was first diagnosed and I was told I'm cancerless, I was a young married woman. And the first thing I thought, now I am calling separation. Because, most couples used to separate because of that. Though it happens even today. And so, of course, then the other thing you think in your mind is you die anytime. And so it wasn't easy even to absorb that. And actually I remember so many people joined in prayer. This case of Jesus, when he was requesting his Father God to remove the cup from him, and honestly speaking, finally he had to accept it. And so this is what happened even to me. By then I used to work in Kikuyu Hospital, and I'm a people person, so people used to pray so hard. Some of them were fasting. But I remember on admission day being a Sunday, and the following day is operation day. At dawn is when I told the group that was nearer to me, I told them, if the Lord has said I have to undergo this, let God's will be done.
Wow.
And so we relaxed.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was being trolleyed to theater, the song that the Lord gave me is from the Psalms 23. Yeah. And I like it so much. Yeah. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. That even if I pass through the darkest valley,
Right.
I'll fear no evil, because the Lord is with me.
Yeah.
And the testimony from the surgeons and the assistants were telling me, Margaret, all through, you were just praising God.
Wow.
And I remember even when I woke up, because I was the first patient for operation in the morning, at 8:30 in the morning. And I woke up at 6:30, as I'm told. The first person I was on my bedside was my father-in-law,
Oh, wow.
the late Reverend T.N.S. Dirango. And he tells me that I told him in English, Daddy, the Lord has done it.
Amen.
So which means I wasn't lost, I thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. And we
Yeah.
praise him too for that, because you're here today sharing your story and encouraging so many others. Let me just read some of the feedback that we have coming in. Good morning, Joyce. Glad there's a guest to discuss palliative care, a very important concept which many Kenyans are unaware of. That's from Jane, watching us in Dagoretti. Good morning, Joyce. Following the show, hope our ladies are learning the signs and symptoms of breast cancer. That's from Emmanuel Orate, Professor Manu, who's shared that comment. And in fact, someone was also saying, could you kindly talk about breast cancer in men? My dad was among the few men who was diagnosed with it, to our shock, and they say they'd love to know more about it. And so, Sister Jane, let's get into that a bit then. Because as we were saying earlier, early detection is so important, because you have a better chance of fighting against the cancer when you detect it early, when it's, say, in stage 1. So for breast cancer, for example, could you walk us through how one can examine themselves for breast cancer, and if the same process applies to men, because we know now men also suffer from breast cancer. A few men do.
Yeah, it is very true. Men suffer from breast cancer, and theirs becomes worse because they don't have enough muscle like the women do have. We encourage doing screening. For the men, they do it by observing, but also for women, they do the observing. I decided I'm not going to come with something to use. I'm going to illustrate it with myself, because I thought it was more practical than anything. So what we say that it's important to do a checkup once per month. For those ladies that are having their menses, their periods, you do it 1 week after, because during the period time, the breasts normally are full, so you can get confused. For those who maybe are in menopause, we say you set a date for yourself. You can say, I'll be doing it on the first day of the month. That's when I'll be doing it. It's best to do it when you're in the bathroom. Because you don't, during the day, starting to remove your clothes and do that, for sure it will be forgotten. So the best time is during when you're taking a shower. If you have a mirror in the shower, it's okay. If you don't have, you can get one, maybe from the bedroom. So what you do, you go before the mirror. When you go before the mirror, you can place your hands on top of your head and then just observe how your breasts are. It's good to know how your breasts have been since they developed. You should know the texture of the skin. So what do you look with your eyes? You look at the size of the breast. The size of the breast one is normally bigger than the other one, but not so exaggerated. So it is just slightly, it might be a bit higher or lower. So you check on the size. If it is exaggerated, you need to go and be seen. The other thing that you check is on the skin. The skin is supposed to be smooth like the peel of an orange, but if you see the skin is having the sort of a skin of the lemon, it normally has dimples. Like there is dimples, like it is going inside. So that should tell you there is a problem. Or if you see any redness, or you see a color that has not been there, that one should alert you there is a problem. It might not be cancer, but there is a problem. The other thing that you check on the on the breast through the mirror is also the nipples. If you see like your nipples are retracting to the back or going inside, if that is not the way they have been since you developed your breast, that should tell you that there is a problem, so you need to go and be seen. After you have finished checking with your eyes, the other thing that you do, there are people who have big breasts. You can lie down. You can still do it standing. Mostly for the people with small breasts, you can do it standing. But if your breasts are quite okay, I don't want to use the word quite big, but you cannot be able to manage them when you're standing. You can just lie on a bed, on a couch, and use and put a pillow, and then you use that. So when you are standing, and even when you are lying, you lift your hand up. So when you're lifting your left hand, you use the right hand. So what you do, you assume there is an imaginary line, 1 and 2 imaginary lines. So that one means you have 4 sections of the breast.
So you're dividing it.
You are
straight
dividing
down the
it,
middle
yeah.
and straight across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's an imagination. Don't,
Sure.
I tell people, don't go and get something and start drawing. So after you do that, why you are doing that, so that you make sure that you don't miss any place. After you have done that, we do not just start where the breast is. You start from the armpit, because the armpits are so much related. There's the lymph nodes that are related to the breast. So you go up with your hand here.
The pads
so
of your fingers.
the parts of the fingers down here. So you start from up. You start checking if you can feel anything like a swelling. You continue that way. Go down, go down, go down. Now, I know you cannot see because I'm having my clothes on. You're not supposed to have your clothes on, because I might do this and then people will do with their clothes on.
Yeah.
So after you get to that place, now you have the first part.
Okay.
So you go round the first part. You go round the first part. Now you're not touching the nipple. Go round the first part, finish in the middle of the first part. Then go to the other part, go round, round, round to the middle. Go to the other part, go round, 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 come to the middle. You go to the upper part, round, round to the middle. And then, now you have not touched your nipple. So you touch where the nipple is and feel if you can feel anything. After you have done that, you slightly squeeze your nipple, see if there is anything that is coming out of the nipple. If you get blood or pus, that shows that there is a problem. So that, in a nutshell, there is other ways of doing the examination, but I'm just using this one because I think it's
one you can do at home.
Yeah,
quickly.
it's the easiest
by yourself. Okay. As we get ready to wrap up this discussion, Sister Jane, you'll touch on palliative care in your final comments, but also, Mom Margaret, 22 years surviving cancer. I want you to very quickly just talk about what it's taken, mentally, socially, psychologically, emotionally, not just for you, but even for your family members, because this has been a battle for them as well, and how you would encourage those around us to really support one another, particularly when one is diagnosed with cancer. What are some of the things that we can do? How can we better support our loved ones?
Thank you, Joyce. One of the things that affect a victim is, one, psychologically you become disturbed, because now a new problem has developed. This one, it's long term. It's going to take you shorter life. So one of the things you see is like, am I going to live? And for how long? Do I start preparing myself so that I start giving, saying bye-bye to my friends and families. And you don't live, you don't see you're going to take so long on earth.
Okay.
The other thing that affects you is finances.
Right.
Because to manage cancer, it's very expensive.
Sure.
Beside the NHIF, and of course it doesn't cover, although we are praising God, because before it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But today, it can cater for some tests.
Okay.
But come to drugs, it's damn expensive.
Okay.
So, finances drawn.
Okay.
And I am a witness of that.
Sure. So I'm sorry, I have to wrap up, but I think what I'm hearing you say is there's a psychological element to this, and it is so important that your social circle is helping promote a positive psychological space for you.
Exactly.
And even these, tukiona mchango, tutoe pesa tusaidiane, because as you're saying, it's super expensive to manage this.
Yes.
And for you, for example, who you within stage 4 alone, almost a 10-year journey, there's a tremendous commitment that is required to that.
Actually, it is, Joyce, let me mention there. I told you I work with the community.
Yes.
It is like the Lord has given me the burden. that today you call me for a patient, I say, I give hope. I have to run. Because if I don't, and here she's gone, I'll start saying, God, I wish I knew.
Right.
And so to walk that journey,
Right.
there's no kit for that.
Yeah.
I was telling some people the other day, I just posted like a small information that since it's Breast Cancer Month, please support Cancer Survivor Africa with only 200 shillings.
Okay.
And I was telling a friend, nobody responded.
Hmm.
Yeah. Although now I think they are coming to wake up.
Okay.
So it is a journey. It is very expensive.
Is there a pay bill for that
There's
number?
no particular transport to take me there.
Okay.
Sometimes even the doctors tell me you are not supposed to go with boda boda.
Sure.
Because sometimes I find myself on a journey on boda boda
Okay.
so that I may reach that patient.
Okay.
Jane is a witness that we meet at Kikuyu Hospital for psychosocial support. And some patients are not able to come simply because there's no transport.
Mm-hmm.
Or other times you go and visit them, they're supposed to be on a particular diet.
Yeah.
They are not on diet.
Okay.
Other times they're supposed to go for that chemo, but they have no transport to take them to the hospital.
Okay.
So we do a lot on that.
All right. Mom Margaret, I'm so sorry. I wish we had more time to hear your story. And clearly your heart is so passionate for this. And this is certainly a discussion that shouldn't end here today or this month. And if there's a pay bill number as far as how people, or a number, how people can donate to your cause, you'll give us that number and we will see how to share it with our audience. But very quickly, Sister Jane, in like 20 seconds, just talk to us about palliative care as you wrap up as well.
Okay, palliative care is the care that is given to the terminally ill or the chronically ill. And normally what we do, as Margaret is mentioning, there is the symptoms that comes with the cancer issue. It is like now the psychological issue. We call it the total pain. The total pain is whereby they are affected socially, they are affected spiritually, they are affected psychologically. And we don't deal with just the patient alone, and we don't just deal with the disease itself, but we deal with the person himself or herself and the family. So we take care of the whole family, and we ensure that they are going through it smoothly. There's other things, the blood would come down, sometimes they have constipation, they have pain, and these are the things that we take care of in the palliative care. And I want to just say that we are doing a screening at Kikuyu Hospital right now for the cervical screening, breast, and prostate.
Okay. Oh, wow. And it's free?
Yeah, it is. Okay, we are sharing a cost at 200 just to be able to buy the things that we are using for that.
PCA Kikuyu Hospital, free screening, breast cancer, cervical, or breast, cervical, and prostate for those cancers. Ladies, thank you so much. I wish we had more time. Your stories are amazing. May God bless you and just continue to use you and to encourage so many others out there. I have to take a break. The time is running today. I have to take a break, but we'll be back in just a bit to talk about obsessive compulsive disorder. This is Full Circle with Joyce. Stay tuned.
Are we to give the number?
Thank you.